Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, and now we are up to the point where the believers who do not like the idolatry in Ezekiel 9, verse 5, are getting that mark. And then we get to that was verse 4. And verse 5, this is what it says. And to the others he said in my hearing, pass through the city after him and strike. Your eye shall not spare, and you shall show no pity. Kill old men outright, young men and maidens, little children and women, but touch no one on whom is the mark. Remember, we said this is another form of Passover. And it begin at my sanctuary. So they began with the elders who were before the house. So these 6 angels with these weapons of destruction are coming in, and they are being ordered to kill everybody that didn't get that mark, that tav, on their head, on their person somewhere, and wipe out everyone that's into the idolatry. How did you get the mark? Well, if you were sighing and groaning over the idolatry and not happy about it because it didn't glorify God, you got that mark. So no one with this mark is being no one with the mark is struck down. They are completely safe. The remnant is preserved. Now, the ESV Fire Study Bible said that they were to begin at the sanctuary. Why was that significant? Because the judgment began with God's people, especially the spiritual leaders. If they failed to be good examples, they lead the people away. That's why it's very important that you pay attention to who you are following. If they are leading you away from Christ, you don't want to be following them. In the Apologetics Study Bible, there was a really interesting note. It said, the merciless slaughter of those who did not have the mark seems out of character for God, who has made it clear that the taking of human life is contrary to his will. But there's several things to consider here. First of all, the Old Testament names a number of crimes that were punishable by death, including some that were commonplace in Judah during the time of Ezekiel, advocating the worship of other gods and sacrificing to false gods. Secondly, it was permissible to take a life in the course of warfare. The command to kill those who were not grieved over Judah's rebellion against God is comparable to the command to exterminate the Canaanites during Israel's occupation. A population steeped in pagan religion could not be allowed to remain. Third, under the principle of corporate solidarity, all who participate in a sinful culture are tainted by its sin, so it could be a form of purification. And lastly, we have to remember, and I've said this so many times, this is a vision being given to Ezekiel in Babylon, and it is not an act that was carried out. As extreme as the Lord's command seemed, the actual killings in the streets of Jerusalem would be done by the Babylonian invaders, not the 6 warriors shown to Ezekiel. The slaughter in this passage was a word picture predicting the eventual doom of Jerusalem and its inhabitants because of the pervasive climate of sin. The whole nation was guilty of bloodshed and perversity. So as we look at this and we think this through, the bottom line is, this is the way I would sum this up. God is not willing to put up with the idolatry, and he is going to allow, in the physical, he is going to allow those Babylonians to come in and slaughter his people because they have fallen into that idolatry. Then we get to verse 7. Then he said to them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go out. So they went out and struck in the city, and while they were striking, I was left alone. I fell upon my face and cried, Ah, Lord God, will you destroy all the remnant of Israel in the outpouring of your wrath on Jerusalem? Then he said to me, the guilt of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. The land is full of blood and the city full of injustice. For they say, the Lord has forsaken the land, and the Lord does not see. As for me, my eye will not spare, nor will I have pity. I will bring their deeds upon their heads. And behold, the man clothed in linen with the writing case at his waist brought back word, saying, I have done as you have commanded. All that God has commanded is done. The righteous is separated from the unrighteous. The unrighteous is removed, leaving God's purity. Don't forget that God knows what's in our hearts. He can go in every direction. He sees everything. He's got that omnipresence, omnipotent power, and omniscience. He is all-knowing. Keep that in mind, because that's going to feed right into tomorrow's message. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.